Alright, what is going on YouTube? Welcome back to another video. Today we're going to be talking about what is it like being stationed overseas in the military. I get this question a lot being in the military because I was overseas. So I really wanted to answer it in a video because a lot of people are concerned if they go to Iraq or Afghanistan, Kuwait, places like that, or UAE, and they just have a lot of questions about it. So in this video we're going to answer all of them, and let's get into it. Alright, so let's get in the first topic, and this is going to be, it depends where you are overseas. So there's two types of overseas trips you can go on, right? So there's a deployment and a hardship tour. So a deployment's going to be most likely in the Middle East, somewhere like Afghanistan, Kuwait, Iraq, UAE, places like that, right, in the Middle East, where you're on a mission, you're on a deployment. So things can get dangerous, your life could be on the line, or it could be a smooth deployment, right? Either way, both of them, you're away from your family. But a hardship tour is a little different, right? It's kind of like being stationed stateside, but you're in a different country, so things are a little bit differently. And for the hardship tours, it could be like Korea, Japan, Germany, Italy, Poland, right? So these places you're doing training, most likely like everywhere you go in the military, but it's not, your life's not going to be on the line. You're going to be having a lot of free time to yourself. You do get free time and deployments as well, but tours are more of like, you're enjoying yourself, you're having a good time. So that's the difference between a hardship tour and a deployment. So one of the biggest things that's going to happen to you when you travel overseas in the military is a culture shock. There's going to be different people. You're going to see different people, the different races. The food's going to be different. You're going to be trying some rare food you've never tried before. The language, people are going to be speaking different languages. The way you get around, the way you travel, right? The way you interact with people, things like that. Everything's going to be different, and it's so good for you to see things differently and experience different cultures, because it helps you mold into a better person. Because the more perspective and insight you have just on life, the more it's just going to help you develop and mature. So if you do get a chance to go overseas, embrace it and enjoy it, because you're not going to be there forever. I made that mistake, so just enjoy it while it lasts. And yeah, that's one of the biggest things that's going to happen to you. Alright, now another amazing benefit, right? Amazing benefit you get when you travel overseas in the military is money. Okay, you get more money when you travel overseas, especially if you're married. You get way more money. Like on deployments, though, you get the most money because everything's tax-free. So you're getting your check on top of extra pay, and then there's like funds you can do where you save like 10% on your money if you put it in this fund throughout your deployment. It's crazy. So that's tax-free. But even in like Korea, I got paid more for being like in a hazardous duty pay. You get COLA pay, you get all these different pays. So if you do go overseas, you're probably going to be making a little bit more money when you come back to stateside. Because when I came back to stateside, my check was looking crazy. I was like, man, where's all my money at? But that's because I was stationed overseas. So that's a good thing. You save a lot. If you're going out and partying, probably not saving a lot, but you're gonna definitely get more money. So that's a big bonus on top of the being around a different culture and a different scenery. You're gonna be making more money, so that's always a good thing. Alright, so now your overall experience in being overseas is gonna be good, even if it's bad. So let me explain. In the military, it's gonna get worse before it gets better, I feel like, honestly. Like, even if you're having a hard time and like a duty station, just because it's in that specific duty station doesn't mean if you go to Hawaii things are gonna be better. For an example, my first sergeant at AIT was giving a speech one day, and he said two things, right? Because I think this is when we're getting our orders, so we're all about to find out like where we're going. like where we're gonna be stationed at and whatnot. So he said two things, right? When you go to your new duty station, you're either gonna like work, right? You like who you're working with and what you're doing, or you're gonna like the duty station, the place itself, right? Hawaii, Texas, Washington, right? You're gonna like the area. It's rare that you find both, right? So beggars can't be choosers. Either you like where you're working at or you like your duty station, right? It's hard to get both, and if you do get both, then you're lucky, because especially if you work with people with like bad leadership and stuff like that, it can ruin your whole experience. But that's just something to take account for. But when I was in overseas, my experience, there was the ups and downs. Everyone's uptight, everyone's away from their families, everyone's struggling. But when you build like a connection with people and you go through like bad times with people, it just makes things even better, even if the times are bad, because you got through rough times, and that just builds you up, your character, everything, right? So even if you're having a bad experience, just going through it with people together makes it all worth it, because you look back at it and you're like, man, how did I get through that? And another thing is just like cherish the moment, right? When I was in Korea, you take it for granted, like, oh, I'm in Korea, or I'm in Italy, or I'm in Iraq. When's the next time you're probably gonna be there? If you're in the military, you're probably not gonna be there anytime soon unless you try to request to go back. So just experience, the culture, go traveling, go see different things, and just make memories, because if I could go back to Korea, I would. Probably not in the military, right? Probably not in the military, but definitely one of these days I want to go back and explore Asia, because it's just beautiful. So that's my thoughts on it. As far as being stationed out there, the money's better, the culture shock. It's a good experience for your mentality and your character. And yeah, so I can't really speak on the deployment side. I've never personally been deployed, but I know a lot of people who have been. So if you guys like this video, go ahead and like, comment, and subscribe. And that's about it, guys. Peace. Have a good one.